You're a cop, huh?
No, what I am, Sonny, is about 50 pounds heavier and one hell of a lot meaner, so you better straighten up your act. I don't think I'll like it.
The snapper is Robert Shiver, a sophomore out of Thomasville, Georgia. The holder is Matthew Motley, a senior from Opelika, and Wes Byram, a freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, trying to put it through to give Auburn the win. Here's the snap, the place, the kick is up, the kick is long enough, the kick is good! Good! See you later, alligator! Tigers win, 20-17! I hope Lee Corso and Kirk Street never pick Auburn to have a chance again.
Being number 2, being number 4.
It all starts with just one thing. Glass jars can be reused to store food and spices, as a holder for combs and brushes in the bathroom, or as a container for plants and homemade candles, in addition to simply being recycled. Find tips and more at onethingus.com.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
If we actually enjoyed our New Year's resolutions, we'd all have six packs, money in our saving accounts, and we'd know how to play the piano. I have to tell you about the one resolution I actually enjoy. It's Built Bar. It's delicious. Oh yeah, it's healthy too. Built Bar is healthier than your favorite protein bar. They're low-cal, low sugar, high protein, high fiber, great for the keto diet. Lose or maintain weight while indulging. And with only 4 net carbs and 150 calories, there's no guilt. Visit BuiltBar.com.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores and in all Seattle Elysian locations. Make contact.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expect it here. CBS Sports Radio.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I broke in your crib, what would you do? What would you really do? What could you do?
Yeah, welcome. No, you're staying now. Yeah, come here. Oh no, you're staying now. We're gonna play.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Your baseball weekend gets rolling early on Friday. At 3:10 p.m., it's the Royals at the White Sox.
6:35, San Francisco is playing Pittsburgh again for about the 53rd time. Gaussman versus Anderson. At 7:05, the Baltimore Orioles host the New York Yankees, while the New York Mets travel to the Tampa Bay Rays. The Angels are at the Red Sox at 7:10, and the Cubs invade Detroit to take on the Tigers. At 7:37, Philadelphia is at Toronto. And at 8:10, the Texas series begins. The Rangers travel to the Astros. A bit of a late slate for the Atlanta Braves. They travel to Milwaukee. It's Drew Smiley versus Adrian Hauser at 8:10 Eastern. Also at 8:10, Oakland and Minnesota, and the second part of the doubleheader of KC versus the White Sox. 8:40 Eastern, the Cincinnati Reds are at the Colorado Rockies, while Washington's at Arizona at 9:40, and at 10:10, you got the Marlins playing the Dodgers, Cleveland's at Seattle, and the St. Louis Cardinals take on the San Diego Padres all weekend long. That's your Sunday night game of the week. As the NBA winds down, tonight you've got Cleveland at the Wizards, Denver at Detroit, Orlando's at Philadelphia, Utah at OKC, Toronto is at the Dallas Mavericks, while the Clippers travel to Houston. Also at 9, Sacramento's at Memphis, and at 9:30, New Orleans travels to Golden State. In the NHL, there's one meaningless crap game between two Canadian teams, so we'll move on to college baseball. In the ACC this weekend, number 17 Florida State hosts Clemson, Georgia Tech is at Miami, number 15 Louisville is at North Carolina, while number 16 Pittsburgh Panthers host the NC State Wolfpack. The Southeastern Conference is highlighted by a couple of heavyweights. Number 1 Arkansas travels to number 4 Tennessee, and the number 2 Vanderbilt Commodores are at the number 18 Ole Miss Rebels. Number 9 Gators host the Georgia Bulldogs, and number 25 South Carolina is at Kentucky. While Bama is at LSU, Texas A&M is at Auburn, and Missouri travels to number 3 Mississippi State. If you're looking for big games outside the Southeast, Texas Tech, number 7 in the country, is at Oklahoma this weekend. The number 10 Oregon Ducks are at Utah. Number 13 Arizona hosts Washington, while the number 21 Indiana Hoosiers travel to the Michigan Wolverines. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. The Atlanta Braves. I lost my train of thought right there. Great intro there, buddy.
That's pretty much what all of Braves country is doing right now.
Luke
I don't know much,
Tater
but
Jackson. That's what it was. I was giving my Luke Jackson impersonation right there.
I don't know much, but I know one thing. I'm wore out from yesterday. I helped the Blue Jays pack, and I drove them to the damn airport. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Take a little more than some lame trash talk to get me out of my... God, what the hell was that?
Our butts pressed against each other.
They didn't press, it was glancing. Stop talking about it.
Oh, come on. All the time you've spent in the locker room, this can't be your first moon landing.
You got a name for it?
It's very common. You got off easy. At least it didn't happen after a shower.
Enough.
We call that a splashdown.
That's it. I'm changing in the stall. Excuse me.
Well, hell, it stopped playing. Okay. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee alongside Justin Waller. We'll play the batting practice music. I don't know what the hell happened there. I think that was user error. I think I edited that damn thing wrong. Good morning, Justin. How the hell are you this morning?
Well, let's try this again. Maybe I can speak this time. I'm doing a heck of a lot better now. It sounds like we're all having technical difficulties. We survived. It's Friday. The Atlanta Braves are no longer playing the Blue Jays, so that is nice, and maybe we can find a W.
Yes. I'm just glad to be done with the Blue Jays. They've looked terrible against them. Glad to see Chris Martin back, but he's going to have to work off the rust. I think he might end up being our closer before it's all said and done. You got Shane Green. You really need Will Smith in there on high leverage situations against lefties where he's going to face a lot of lefties. I don't really believe that he is an actual closer. I never believed when they signed him that he was a closer. The Braves' best closing option resides out in San Diego now, so they'll be looking for one come the trading deadline. The question is, are they going to be in the damn race? Because they are now a full 4 games behind the Mets. The Mets are catching fire. They've won 7 or 8 in a row. They do get the Mets come Monday. They need to win the series against Milwaukee and be ready. They did reset their pitching staff where they are going to have it set up where Fried's going to go game 1, Anderson will go game 2, and who am I forgetting? I think is actually getting skipped. So maybe Morton goes game 3. I know it's Fried 1, and it might be Morton 2, and then Anderson. But regardless, so that means Smiley probably takes the mound, I would think, Saturday, and so Inoue would go Sunday. I don't know about you, but I kind of would have liked to have pushed back Inoue a day, right? I mean, they're so worried about getting Morton in there. Morton has not performed.
Yeah, it's been subpar so far. I think I'd rather have Charlie in that big game situation with first place Mets. If you're saving him for that go around, I mean, you got to think that Charlie's going to bounce back and get himself into form. There's going to be slip ups here and there. It's just, it's bad time. It seems like everybody's having slip ups out in the bullpen. Well, bullpen, front pen, it doesn't matter where.
Yeah, they need some good pitching. They need the bats to wake up too. The bats are just absolutely ridiculous at this point. They're getting a good hit here and there, but they're not putting together the innings that they did last year with essentially the same lineup. This Travis D'Arnaud injury is going to hurt them more than I think we realized at the outset. So, but let's move on. We got a lot more to talk about, a little time to do it. Let's get into the Tennessee Titans schedule release. It's finally with us, sir. Are you excited?
Not after seeing it.
Brutal.
That's tough, man. Before we get into the schedule, I got a lot of questions. I just want to know your honest opinion about this because I'm mixed with my feelings, but and I'll tell you which way I lean. You believe in Vrabel? Or do you believe that he possibly wrote off the defense of Dean Pease that first year? We took a step back in 19, and then we saw it go way backwards last year. Now you lose Arthur Smith. You didn't replace Corey Davis or Jonnu Smith, and I'm really concerned when you look at this schedule that your offensive production and some of these juggernauts you're going up with is Vrabel the guy? I know he's got a winning record and he's going to do something, and John Robinson's going for number 5 in a row of winning seasons. That hasn't happened since I think 87 to 92 for this organization, which would have been back in the Oilers days. Never happened as the Titans franchise. But man, is that all riding off Vrabel?
Okay, so I'm a little concerned with what the offense is going to look like this year, because you lose Davis and didn't really go out and get that splashy draft pick that we were hoping for. We talked about it all pre-draft. We were looking for a wide receiver either in the first round or by the second round. And by the time they were drafting receivers, they were kind of getting guys that I didn't have earmarked till much later in the draft. So I'm concerned with that. Maybe there's a plan in place to bring in Julio Jones, and maybe that's got something to do with what they did, right? Because you alluded to that about a month ago, somewhere in that neighborhood. And at the time of that happening, I remember thinking, well, how the hell are we going to know anything? And you got to trust this guy to basically do the
You need some big trust in between them general managers.
Right, it's like June 1st or June 6th.
June 2nd is the date it will happen, because I don't think they can make a move until the 2nd.
Okay, so with that being said, I kind of like something in place, kind of like the way they do in other sports. Like the NBA comes to mind, where you'll see a trade has been made in the offseason, or a trade has been or is being set up, but they can't sign it officially until a certain date, but it's already been released by the press a couple weeks in advance, right? And so it's a known thing. So then that way, if they do back out, they look like a bunch of clowns, and at least you got something to sell to your fan base of, look, they were supposed to trade him, they didn't, and so we won't be dealing with that franchise ever again, kind of thing. That being so quiet, I don't know. So he can be traded. So where are we? On the 14th. So we're talking about around 3 weeks from now. If they bring in Julio Jones, then a lot of their draft and offseason has made sense, right? Because you get Julio Jones, you get AJ Brown rolling. I mean, Justin, I kind of would have liked to have seen them take a stab at one of these athletic tight ends later in the draft.
I still believe that Johnny Smith is the bigger loss than Corey Davis. I mean, Corey was coming out of his own, and I think he earned a contract in this last season. Unfortunately, I think he was kind of hidden a little with Mariota early in his career. He didn't have a quarterback that could open up his skill set, and Tannehill does that for him, or did that for him. And, good for him. But there's no way the Titans could have paid that money. I would have liked to have seen them retain Smith or go get one of the tight ends. Like you said, this has been an offense now. With Arthur Smith not being here, we see that the tight end might not be important. So this might be something very unique to Titans fans, especially us Titans fans that have always just been in love with the tight ends back to the Wycheck days.
Yeah, and I'm with you on the Johnny Smith thing. I think he's going to be dangerous. If Mac Jones is what we think Mac Jones is going to be, an accurate passer, et cetera, he's got more weapons than people realize. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right now on May 14th. The New England Patriots are back. The New England Patriots are going to make a push. Now, how they get there, it might be Cam to start them off, try to play that don't lose a game kind of philosophy, and then they get Jones implemented into the offense. But here's the thing that a lot of people aren't taking into consideration when they talk about Mac Jones and when he'll play. Remember something, y'all, Mac Jones is a fifth-year senior. So he's not some babe in the woods. He played under Saban. We've all talked about how Saban and Belichick similarities are just, off the charts.
And the dudes are very good friends. I mean, they get together. They've been together since the Cleveland days. I'm not even sure that they're not the same person. I've never seen the two of them in the same room. Right. Yeah.
It might be some Superman Clark Kent stuff going on there. We're maybe
he has Bill Belichick's system in his brain already. It's just changing some lingo to Josh McDaniels.
If you put a polo on Belichick and a sweatshirt hoodie on Saban, would they look the same? We need to
in Alabama.
We need to investigate that. There might be some similarities. Get one of those FBI, the facial recognition type things. The Jags are back in London. We talked about that on Tony's Gator and Golf show this morning. We're not real happy about the fact that the Jags are going over there and playing the Dolphins, because that's a game in Florida that they should be keeping in Florida. And why can't we? It's just like we were talking about. Why can't you put the Texans over?
Jaguars should cancel London. Be like, hey, they just came up with voter ID laws. You got to have an ID. We need to stay that. Keep it here in Florida.
Exactly.
Ours hadn't passed yet.
We're gonna cancel. It's on the books. We're gonna cancel culture in England. There sure is an awful lot of white people over there for some reason we can't figure out. But outside of that, what games jump off on you on the board that aren't Titan related? Because I will say one thing before we move on from the Titans. There was a stretch that I looked at and I went, holy crap, are we going to win any of these games?
They've got 8 playoff contenders in a row. During Buffalo, this roster, and 5 in a row.
Week 6, Buffalo, Week 7, Kansas City. Week 8, Colts. Week 9, Rams. Week 10, Saints. We don't know what the Saints will be. And then it gets a little easier, but then they do play at New England before the bye. And you come out of that bye and it's Steelers and 49ers. I mean, it and Dolphins. I mean, it is a tough road. The good news is the Colts will be facing a similar situation. So I haven't put the two of them side by side and looked at them yet. I'm sure we'll start doing that here in the next couple of weeks of looking at individual teams and projecting records kind of thing. But man, that's good. That's a rough stretch. I'll say this for Tennessee. They better get off to a fairly hot start because, and I mean, even Arizona at home and at Seattle, that's no joke itself. But when you get to play teams like the Jets with Zach Wilson early in his career, Trevor Lawrence early in his career, you got to win those games. You cannot have any of these, oh, well, it was a bad game and they got us any given Sunday bull crap. Because if you lose any of those games, it's going to make it a daunting task to win the division.
Yeah, they've got 5 games against rookies. They're going to win every one of them. That's assuming Trey Lance is starting for the 49ers. I
understand we're getting 3 wild cards, but I think Tennessee has to win the division to make the playoffs because I don't think the wild card winner is coming out of that division because what we just talked about, their schedules are so difficult. I think the division winner is going to be like 9-7. And so whoever doesn't make it's not going to make the playoffs because there'll be some crap out there where like a team out there in the who's getting to play the Jets quite a bit is going to stack their record like the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins, when they get to play the Jets twice this year, no matter how dynamic Zach Wilson may be, they're still the Jets and they're still rebuilding. So Tennessee's got to win the games that they have to win, and they're going to have to pull off some upsets.
Yeah, and I mean they've got some big nationally televised games. The one circled the most. I like when Bills Mafia comes to town. It's always fun and entertaining, but that's a Monday night game, and that should be fun and exciting. Bills Mafia, after not being able to travel for 2 years, so it'll be fun. Especially after last year's debacle, they kind of owe us one, so it ought to be a great game.
Any other games jump out at you on the
national level? There's a ton of them. I kind of went week by week. You want to just roll through them like that, or?
Yeah, because we've also got a couple of belly ups that I've got to get your takes on.
I mean, my main first one's Cowboys at Bucks. I mean, I just Tom Brady versus America's team. Jacked up to see that.
It's on Colts. September 9th, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Birthday.
Week 4 is the one I got circled, and that's Mr. Tom Brady rolling up into Gillette Stadium and laying a smackdown on his daddy and showing him that ring he doesn't have, that extra one that he has. That's the ones that jumped out to me later in the season. There's a few of them.
Here's something funny to me. So I pull up these articles, right, and they try to tell you what the big games are, but then there's ones they have written. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be a big game or not because, for instance, Packers Chiefs. Yeah, if Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay,
right?
But if he's not, and it's Jordan Love or Blake Bortles at the helm, that's going to be a terrible game.
It's like having Lions at Rams for the double revenge game. Well, I mean, come on. I don't think the Lions stand a chance in that, but maybe. Okay, well.
And I can't put Browns Ravens on my list because they're divisional games. We knew we were going to get those. Just like Colts Titans is a great game, and I always look forward to them. But we know we're going to play them twice a year, so why have that circled? Bills Chiefs is interesting. Week 5. The Bills better get a running game between now and week 5 because they were just dusted off the field. Any other games jump out at you before we switch gears?
No, we can go ahead and switch. They're just
I'll give you one last one. I'll give you one last one for folks that may not have heard the first half hour of the Armchair Quarterbacks. For people who don't know, 8 a.m. to 8:30 on Friday specifically, we're doing Tony's Gators and Golf. The rest of the week, it is just 8:30 to 9:30, but we change. In other words, we end the feed and we start a new one. So it's still 8:30 to 9:30 Monday to Friday, but I do an early show with Tony on Fridays. The one game that jumped out at me that I'm excited to watch involving the Jaguars would be week 4. Jaguars are at the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. So you're going to have Joe Burrow versus.
How about week 16 at the Jets too? I'll throw that one in there. Jaguars at Jets. We're going to see Wilson and Lawrence. I'm excited for that one.
Absolutely. All right, let's.
Jets.
You ready to belly up to the bar?
Let's do it.
I don't know if we've ever done this on YouTube, so we'll find out if they nail us for the 1922 recording of that song. Let's go ahead and belly up to the bar. The first one that is on the docket. So there was an article that came out, and I won't bore you with the article. You might have came across it because it is in The Athletic. It's the best baseball caps in Major League Baseball currently, right? And I was just off the top of your head, let's put the Braves aside. What are your 3 favorite baseball caps that you get? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but that's kind of the point of this segment.
I've always liked the White Sox hat. I'm secretly deep down inside a long lost Ozzie Guillen fan, and I've always
the black one that says Sox written in. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't really. I can
damn it,
like
I'm
all.
wrong.
I'm a secret Sox fan.
Damn it, I'm wrong, because that was the one I was going to complain about. They have him as one of the top hats. I just never liked it. I don't know why. So I'm wrong.
That's difficult. I like so many other throwbacks. Well, they still wear it this year. I love the Tampa Bay, the old school one with the ray on it, with the actual devil ray.
Yeah, but they were ranking the current, like the ones you see every day.
Oh.
I'll give you one. The first 2 that they mentioned were the Dodgers and the Yankees. I'm not really that enthralled by them because I don't know. There's nothing special about them. I don't dislike them. It's a classic logo, but the one that I don't think ever gets enough love is the Detroit D in whatever, I don't know what font that is that they use, but that one to me is classic. And maybe it's because I liked Magnum PI and Tom Selleck back in the day. He always had it on. I don't know why, but I've always liked that hat, even though I've never been a Detroit.
I love the font of it. Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Brewers hat. I've always liked it. I like the hidden things that are in the symbol there.
I was surprised that they had the Brewers up top because I thought before I ever opened the article, I did something in my head real quick. Say, okay, which ones do you think are going to be high and which ones are going to be low? And I thought the Brewers would be like middle of the road. They actually had them as one of the top tier, which surprised me. Which I do like the Brewers. I just thought I was going to be in the minority on that. I don't like the Diamondbacks ones. I know they've got the hidden thing in there, but it's just something to do with the fact it's too clunky for me. I like the baseball logo hats that are like the Braves, where they're, they're clean and they're to the point.
Until an Alabama fan says "Roll Tide" and I want to throw a throat punch. I'm like, hey, learn your A's, baby, learn your A's. This is a Georgia A.
Right. All right. Well, we'll move on from that. I just wanted to get your take. I thought for sure that you weren't going to mention the White Sox as the first one you want. I was like, I lost that one.
I mean, the one that you wouldn't think I would guess that I'll throw out there, and this is just because of last name. I've always liked secretly the Nationals. I just never wear it. I actually have 2 Nationals hats in the
closet.
was
one of their worst because.
But I like the W on it. I mean, I don't get any other MLB hat I can rock a W off of. So
right, and see that's okay. So I get that because it's your last name, but the wisecracks that always come with the Washington Nationals one is that looks like Walgreens, which it does really. I mean, I almost wonder if someone got sued about that. We're running out of time, so let me jump into the next one. All right, next one, Pac-12 commissioner. New Pac-12 commissioner George Klavkoff, I think that's how I pronounce it. He signed a 5-year deal, begins in July. He is the current MGM president of sports and entertainment. They're going a different direction. Do you like it? I kind of like it because I'm like,
sounds like sports gambling is about to get ramped up in the collegiate level at the Pac-12. Is that what I just heard you say?
Well, I think the reason why they went with it is because they're trying to he's trying to put them on they're trying to put themselves on the map for viewership, and they feel like he is going to have a better idea of what people want to watch, right? And so I think you might start seeing this if he has any success. You might start seeing this where the commissioners are more about the marketing and less about what's right for the student athlete.
Understood. And with all these states popping the name and likeness waivers and allowing that to transition, Tennessee just signed theirs starting January 1st. The 4 major schools in this state will be doing it as well. So maybe I would say he's got some good oversight into that.
This one is what the hell are they doing to everybody? Chick-fil-A announces, and I know that you're a big Chick-fil-A fan, so I want to make sure I got your take on this today. They announced that for now on, they're only giving 1 Chick-fil-A sauce per meal, or if you have a sandwich, and 2 if you have a meal.
Yeah.
And they're saying because of COVID and their sales and blah, blah, blah. I think it's more got to do with the fact that these different states are pushing the $15 minimum wage, plus you've got the gasoline disaster that's going on. And so to try to keep their costs down, they're trying to do that. So what say you on that?
Well, gas and diesel are going to be a short-time thing with the Colonial Pipeline hike, but being in supply chain transportation, it's legit. There is a huge backlog in supply chain across this country. So hopefully we can get some folks, get some butts in some seats, and get some product back rolling. Because man, it's crippling what could happen if you don't get trucks going. I mean, you see it on a small scale, something as an inconvenience in that, but you wait until there was already before this pipeline hack that we're going to worry about over the summer months during the travel seasons. Now that restrictions are lifted and the increase in fuel, that there aren't enough bodies just to deliver. There's not a supply shortage. There's not enough bodies to deliver it. So you can't beat the demand, and you got to get folks back working. So I think maybe we need to revamp some policies and get some people incentivized to quit sitting at home.
Well, when I saw this, I looked around the house and I put my chef's hat on, and I have cracked the code. And so I told my wife, I said, don't worry about it. If need be, I can make you Chick-fil-A sauce now. So we'll be all right there. Also we don't go regularly. She'll get it for herself at lunch at work. And if she does grab it on the way home or something, I said, well, make sure to get me one. It's because I don't ever eat it. Like, the only thing I ever get from Chick-fil-A would be a grilled sandwich. And I like their waffle fries, but I don't dip them into that sauce. I said, just grab me one. We'll stockpile them for you, because I doubt this thing. None of those sauces at any of those places have expiration dates, because God knows what's really in them.
I don't ever eat anything at Chick-fil-A sauce-wise other than just the ketchup. And I like the ketchup because I can dip in it. And I mean, it's just convenient at work, and you get to pour ketchup out everywhere. It's great with the waffle fries. But you got to go with the spicy number 2 pepper jack. That's the go-to right there.
I like the grilled one because I've tried to stay away from the fried chicken sandwiches in a whole. The only fried chicken sandwich that I care about having is the Popeyes one. I know we don't agree on that, but that's.
Have you tried the Zaxby sandwich yet? The new one they have out.
I have tried Zaxby's in the past. I have not been to Zaxby's in a while. We don't have one very close to us. Okay. So I will have to try to remember that if we're ever in that conversation, I'll be, is it just called the Zaxby chicken sandwich?
They've got some fancy word for it, but it's the only chicken sandwich on their menu.
Okay. What's your walk-off for the day, sir?
Well, everybody have a great weekend. We're going into NHL playoffs on Monday. Preds finally battle through, and should be an exciting week next week. We got full force playoffs. And
when does the Preds series start? I saw that
Monday night.
What's that?
Monday night.
Okay. Panthers Lightning starts Sunday night, which is.
And we're pulling for where do you fall in that one? Panthers? I'd like to see Panthers Nashville, just because that's what nobody else wants to see, and I think that would be fun.
I tend to pull for. I don't pull against the Panthers, but I tend to pull for the Lightning because they're much closer to us. So that's the games we always get. I don't get Panthers games at all up here, so it's kind of like it's split in the state what you get locally, and I only ever get the Lightning. So
pulling for some cat-on-cat crime. Does a saber-toothed tiger beat a panther?
Whoever Nashville has a better chance of beating, that's who I would like to see, because when it's all said and done, I'm pulling for the Preds. But If it Preds Lightning, I'm still pulling for the Preds. But
they've got their work cut out in the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll focus
that's what
on
I
that
understand.
first.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I understand that it is not a good draw. So I look forward to that. All right, brother. We'll enjoy the playoffs this weekend. Hopefully, the Braves won't get to their 4th 4-game losing streak tonight. Let's go ahead and take a break. Matt Carr's on the way. We'll see Justin on Monday, and we're going to dive into some Dallas Cowboys.
We can't Gerby Dern your frazzle dazzle.
All right, ladies. There's only one spot left in my fantasy football league and 2 of you.
Why don't we flip a coin?
I prefer a more old-fashioned approach. 2 of you walked into this room, but only one's walking out. No, I was kidding. No, I was kidding. Tom, you're in the league. Bill, you're insane.
Armchair.
Beware, my friend, and let me warn you. Thinking of taking a bumps to California. Let's keep the Dodgers in Brooklyn. Our house is not a home without some love. Don't let them leave our premises. LA will be their nemesis, but Brooklyn fits the Dodgers like a glove.
This is Jim Rome. Join me in the jungle for your phone calls and the biggest names in sports. Stop by weekdays, noon until 3 Eastern, 9 to noon Pacific.
Slider. He's going to have to hurry. He got him. What a play by Walt Weiss. Weiss has saved the game, at least for the moment. That's why Weiss was in there.
Ball game's over right now without Walt Weiss in there defensively.
Every morning this spring and summer, the Armchair Quarterbacks will be headed to Braves country. Along with the big headlines of the day, the Armchair Quarterbacks will be leading off with the Atlanta Braves, National League East, and everything in between. That's Braves country, right after batting practice, weekdays on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Next up will be Ronald Acuna.
The 3-1. Acuna swings. It's a high drive to left center field. Taylor back at the wall. It is gone. A grand slam for Acuna.
You're riding Morning Shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays. Your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Siegfried and Roy, the tiger bit the man in the head, and everybody's mad at the tiger. Talk about the tiger went crazy. That tiger ain't go crazy. That tiger went tiger.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes. And it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. Left for dead. I've been plagued by refusals.
Good morning. Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Mr. Matt Carr is back. Mr. Florida Man. Matt, how the hell are you today?
Doing good, man. Good to be back. How are you?
Good. One of our viewers sent me it's like a Florida man type thing that happened past couple of days, and the girl involved, her last name was Carr. He was wanting to know if this is why you haven't been on the show. She's claiming, I'm sure you can find it. She was claiming that the hotel manager called the police on her because the hotel manager was jealous of how good she looked in her bikini. So you can just imagine what kind of situation this was.
Yeah, my mom does that.
Did she call the police on you because she doesn't like the way you look in a bikini?
Yes.
Someone's got to put an end to this, please.
Maybe not.
Did y'all get good weather down there?
Yeah, every day was good. Cinco de Mayo, it rained all the first half of the day, which I thought would be a great day to start day drinking all day. And all of a sudden, as soon as I got that good drink on, the sun came out and everybody's like, let's go do something. And I was like, So it was good.
Yeah, it just got cool again here in Florida, which is just like, what the hell, man? Come on, dude. We're on at Memorial Day. I'm ready to jump in the pool. Let's get the hell out of this cool weather crap. So I'm ready for summer. I keep looking at my pool, man. I keep wanting to jump in. The wife stuck her toe in the other day, and because she had talked all day about how we were going to swim and all that kind of stuff. I was like, I kept looking. I go, you forget how long it takes for that pool to warm up, right? You doesn't do it overnight. Just because it's 85 degrees outside today doesn't mean that, the months and months of 70 degrees below, does anything. So I was like, look, this Sunday, if it's at least warm enough to let's sit our legs in the pool, I'll sit out there with you. And then it gets cold again. So I have no idea if it's going to be. I can tell you one thing, after helping people with their taxes, this hell week is a bunch of bull crap, man. I'm over it. I am over this. And I still have 3 days to go. This is
that's your first year doing that, right?
Yeah. This hell week of helping people. Dude, out of nowhere, they've promoted me to escalation, basically like a supervisor. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Just hitting buttons.
Yeah, I'm just over here. I'm going to my old restaurant management days and using that kind of philosophy. I guess I'm doing okay with it, but I was like, dude, if you send a mean person to me and an irate person to me, I'm just gonna try to buy their steak for the night,
Right. Give them a comeback card.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can refire that for you real quick. What you're saying is your return isn't quite medium rare, is what you're trying to tell me, right?
Can I speak to the manager? Unfortunately, ma'am, I am.
Dude, the funniest ones are the people that call and so they've sent them to us because they're pissed or whatever, and they demand to speak to someone they spoke to 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, not happening.
I'm like, how do you think I'm going to find this person? Just get their, I've got their email address if that helps. I was like, yeah, that helps. Just email them. Like you can just email them. No, I want to speak to them. We have thousands of people working for this company, and you think I can find who this one person is? I did find one time. She's actually my supervisor, and she didn't want to take the call. I was like, I just put in an LOL. She's like, what's that supposed to mean? I said, it means what it is. It's like, you're supposed to be my supervisor, but you're the one scared to take the call. Reminds me of too many restaurants I worked in where I was the server and the assistant manager on duty was too chicken bleep to go talk to a pissed off table. So I'd have to go there. So the printer jammed. Or whatever lie I would put them out there. That was always my favorite. What was your favorite go-to when someone was pissed off? If you had to talk to a table?
I had no problem. I mean, back then, like I became better now. I'm more ethical, but I mean, it would just be an easy lie. I mean, it was funny. Like if there was a hair in the food, I would go get a bald manager to talk to him, just so I could have that.
Dambo, take care of business over there.
Exactly. But I don't know. I miss a restaurant. Like I'm in restaurant groups on Facebook still. And like every story I hear, people that are still in the game, it brings you right back to it, man. It's just it's funny.
My go-to, because normally 9 times out of 10 they're mad because the food's taking forever. My go-to is always the printer jammed, because I found out a long time ago that if you blamed it on the technology somehow, whether it was printer jammed or it never got sent back, we're trying to figure out. I liked blaming on a bad Wi-Fi connection that would that didn't get your order back to, because everyone likes to get mad at technology and bitch about it, and then it's a faceless, person at fault, right? So that was always my go-to. Because
my worst ones are pocket checks, man. When I would just be like bitching at the kitchen, saying, "Where's my food at?" And then I look at that screen, and there ain't no table on that screen.
Well, but then that's when I would go back to the printer jammed. It was always the printer jammed, whether it was my fault or the cook's fault. The printer jammed.
Right. I'm perfect. I'm here for you, table. I'm just as upset as you are.
So, and that was a known thing for me. Like even in the restaurant that we first met, we were working together. The usual characters that were the the cooks and the managers and whatnot. I would just stick my head back there and go, "So did the printer jam, or is that thing about to come out?"
Right.
Printer jam, dude.
Me and you were pretty good, man. Like, we could BS our way through that, extra 10, 15 minutes. So like I said, I didn't have a lot of go-tos, but I could smooze.
The general manager, Benji, was the funniest one to send to a mad table.
Lord.
Where's McGee? I got to get McGee.
Yeah. He was very kitchen man. He was very KU.
Oh, you wouldn't even get Stu to get out there. He'd be like, no. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette, dude. That's a good one. Hey, man, table 52's mad, man. That sucks, dude. All right, well, I got their steak on the grill, and, I knew if I had him back there on the grill, though, I didn't have much to worry about. I just had to go, do my song and dance, and away we go. All right, let's go ahead and take our trip off of memory lane and go into the future, as we are now time traveling here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. The Dallas Cowboys, their schedule is out. What's your first take of it? Are you excited?
I've honestly not. I've really lost a lot of respect for the Cowboys over the last couple of years, especially this last year with the whole Dak. The last 2 years with Dak debacle. I want to see that. I mean, the week one, obviously with Tampa Bay, that'll be interesting. But I just think it's hard to watch them anymore, knowing what teams are out there. That I don't go into the season. This is our year. I just don't see them being the best team, and I see them being the best team in the NFC East. I see them getting a first round a home game, but I see them going out in the first round. So I'm not really excited about their schedule. I'm sadly enough, I'm more of a Titans fan now than I am a Cowboys fan.
Well, I wouldn't totally sell the ship on the Cowboys if Dak Prescott comes back like he can, and I believe that they helped themselves a little bit on the defense. I wouldn't totally sell the farm short, because realize something. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one injury away from not being the favorite in the NFC, because if Blaine Gabbert is at the helm, it's a wrap, right? At that point, the NFC becomes wide open. I do think there are some teams that are very formidable that could give the Buccaneers a run. The Cowboys could be one. Their best bet to do that would be to have a really good record and actually host the Bucs.
Well,
right?
That's what I'm saying. If you win your division, you get to host the game. So I mean,
you get to host one game, but I'm saying that if they can host the Bucs, they have a chance. But they would have to have a really good, because I don't think the Bucs are going to come stumbling out the gate like they did this year. I think you're going to see the Bucs playing really good football, and they're going to make it a priority to be the home team. So Dallas is going to want to be on the other side of the bracket, meaning you want to be a 2 or 3 seed, not the 4 seed, because if you're the 4 seed, you're going to run into the Bucs instantly right after the first round, right? So that essentially would be, if I'm pulling for the Cowboys, that's what I would be looking at.
They have a tough schedule, man. I mean, I don't think the NFC East is going to be that tough this year again. I think the Giants might be surprising people.
Washington could be a lot better than people expect.
No, they're Washington. They're terrible. That is my only. Like, I don't hate any NFL team, and I don't hate Washington. I just they're terrible. Like that's a place where people go to die, like lose their career. And I feel bad for Richard Ball.
I think Rivera is turning that around. To be honest with you.
Hey, I mean, they made a good run last year. They have, I think they got the best player in the draft last year with I forget. I'm losing his name right now, but he's going to be the future of that defense right there. I know that.
Who's that?
Their first round pick last year, the freak, the guy from Ohio State.
Oh, Young.
Yeah. He's I like him a lot, man. Like that's the only reason I really watched the Redskins game last year, to watch him see what he did.
I just think that they're going to be a force to deal with. I'm interested to see does Henneke take the starting position, or is it going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick? And I think a lot of people forget that Fitzpatrick got signed by the Washington team. Fitzpatrick is the perfect fit for a guy that could just get that team your typical don't lose the game type of quarterback, right? The Dolphins were a better team when he was on the field last year.
Right. And that honestly, like this year, I'm the most team I'm intrigued about watching is the Dolphins. Honestly, that's going to be, I think that'll be a fun little team to watch. I don't know if you're a fan of them anymore, but I know you were. But they're going to be fun to watch.
For me to be an actual fan of them, I talk about this with Steven on Tuesdays when he's on, because he's a big Dolphins fan. They've got to go back to the helmet that I adored as a kid. I hate their new uniforms. Cannot stand them. The only time I get excited when I see a Dolphins game is when I see them wear the throwback. That new helmet is goofy. It's just, ever since they changed it from the original, it's just been a disaster. Because the original looked like a drawing. Dolphin had the helmet on, right? That was awesome. It was going through the ring of fire. It was a great helmet.
Right.
And the actual jersey was a dark, deep teal. It wasn't what you get now where it's like neon, looks like, you're at the Clevelander kicking it at 3 a.m. They went to the cartoony Dolphin in the early 2000s when they went away from that. That's when Ding Dong took over Wanstead, and that's when I started falling out of favor. Yeah, I hate Wanstead. What he did to Marina. That's when I quit pulling for the Dolphins.
Really? Okay.
So that was what, 2000-ish. It was right as Marino was retiring, and he was going to come back another year. And Wanstead said he's going to have to compete for the starting position. And Marino said, "The hell you say? I'm a Mount Rushmore quarterback. I quit." And so he forced him into early retirement. I was actually pulling for Marino to go to the Vikings that year. There was a rumor that he was going to the Vikings. But anyways, haven't been a Dolphins fan since, but I would pull for them if they went back to that as a regular. I cannot stand. And so then they went from the cartoony to the silverfish looking thing that they've got on their helmet. It's in between that and the neon. It's junk. I can't stand it. So those are all solid football reasons for not liking a team, right?
Sure.
It just pissed me off. I mean, I'm not real happy with the current Florida State uniforms, but at least they haven't gone totally off the rails of what they used to look like.
I mean, that being said, I did text you about a uniform 2 nights ago, so we got reasons.
I just don't know why. And they've talked about going to it, but there's something to do with you have to wait a certain amount of time. I'll tell you something else. I'm not convinced that Tua is the answer. He's going to have to prove something this year, because Tua was garbage last year, hot garbage. But I'm going to give him a break because he's coming off injury first year, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see what he ends up being this year. If he looks like he did last year, he's garbage.
I think it'll be a fun team, and I want to see what Waddle does.
Now, I would like to see them trade him to Green Bay and bring Aaron Rodgers down. That would be fun to watch. But watching Tua Tagovailoa struggle through the playbook is just an absolute nightmare.
I was talking to Bobby about this yesterday. Blake Bortles going to Green Bay. I forgot he was in the league, man. That's how distant I am from Jacksonville football. I was like, oh, yeah, Blake Bortles used to be there.
Yeah, he's at Green Bay. He's Jacksonville. Went to the Rams. Now, for some reason, he keeps showing up on my TikTok. Like, get out of here.
Get here, Blake Bortles. Get here.
I even hit that not interested thing, and then someone else is sharing it to me. I'm like, I'm not going to be a Blake Bortles fan. Everyone knows why he was a disaster in Jacksonville. It's widely talked about that when he came onto the scene, he was an absolute party boy, and he didn't do any of the work that they asked him to do. And so that's essentially what happened.
Will Tebow make the 53-man roster?
No, it's being done as a gimmick. I really don't think he will. I'd like to see him do it. The bigger question is, would he accept a practice role?
Like the practice squad? I think he makes the 53. That's my take.
I think a guy who's never played tight end in his life, starting at age 33, doesn't make the he's the 6th tight end in camp. So
I just think his
how
work
many tight ends are you going to carry?
I get it. I mean, I think
he's going to run the wishbone, the wing T. get freaking. I went back and watched his video. I talked about this the other day. I went back and watched his video from the last time that he had any kind of real snaps in the National Football League. He wasn't fast enough to be a tight end then, and that was almost a decade ago. I'm pulling for him. I think it's a neat story, but I think it's very, very New York Mets-ish. He can't accept the fact that he just never made it, and he's trying to find another way because baseball. If he was like absolutely serious about this, Matt, he would have been doing this years ago, trying to stay in the league. Instead, he got his feelings hurt because the Mets told him, we've been doing this for 4 years. You suck. You're never going to make it, kid. You're 33. You're taking up room on our. They were doing it at first to bring butts into the seats down in Port St. Lucie.
Right, and which it did.
Right, it did. But he's not any good. He was always hitting like below 200 in spring training. And then he got to the minors, same thing. They'd be like big news on ESPN if you hit a home run in the minors in the middle of June. Like, that was the second one of the year. He's batting a clean 156 with a sluggo of under 200. You're like, what the hell am I looking at here? So that's
what you get for watching ESPN, though.
But I'm not going to overreact like a lot of Jaguar fans who are pissed off about it, and they're like, "This is ridiculous. It makes us look like clowns." It's a gimmick. They're going to bring people into the season. You're going to want to go see him play in the preseason games, right?
Right.
So that's a reason. It's a gimmick. It's what I said they should have done. I moved back to Jacksonville in 2013, and Tebow had just left the NFL in 2012. He just gotten cut. And I kept saying at that time, so we started the show the following year, and I kept saying at that time, why the hell don't the Jaguars sign him and at least put asses in the seats and sell jerseys?
And they would have, and they will this year, man. I think he'll make the final roster just because on talent, hopefully. Like I said, he's one of the hardest working people.
It won't be on talent.
He's a hard worker, man. I mean, he's an athlete.
I just don't think on talent he's going to make it, because Jacksonville's roster right now at tight end.
Well, you got Kraft. Is he still there?
Let me pull it up. So Manhurts, Farrell, who they just drafted. So they're not going to get rid of him. Tyler Davis. O'Shag Hennessy. They got an O'Shag Hennessy as their tight end.
Hey, you know what? On DraftKings, he's always $3,000, and he gets you a couple of catches. I know he's like 2,800.
James O'Shag Hennessy.
Yeah, I've picked him several weeks.
James O'Shaughnessy? No, O'Shag Hennessy. Man, I hope he makes the team. That's gonna be fun.
He was there last year, man. I picked him.
and then Ben Ellerson. So Shag Hennessy, I guess, was a free agent, undrafted free agent. Ellerson was drafted in 20, Davis 20, and so two of these guys were drafted last year. Farrell was drafted this year, and then you get Chris Mannertz that was drafted this year. They cut the other kid. But I guess my point is, so none of the Titans are going to jump out at you. But how many are you going to carry?
Right.
Like, I've got a depth chart that goes 5 deep here because they haven't even signed Tebow yet. But if he gets signed, that's going to be 6 tight ends. How are you? But I could see him as a practice squad because he would be perfect for practice squad because he could play a lot of different things and just help the team out. And if you put him on practice squad, you could every once in a while start him.
Right.
I think what I would probably do if I were them from a marketing standpoint, put him on the practice squad and wait till about midway through the year when the Trevor Mania has kind of died down and the team's not winning, and have Tebow make his debut in a home game.
It'd be great. And announce it.
Right. Oh yeah. Announce that he's going to play this weekend. We'll announce on like a Wednesday or Thursday, get the fans going. You know, they're sitting there at 2 and 6 or whatever. They're like, yes, we get to see Tebow. And they'll go rush out and watch him, give him a couple of plays that you specifically design. Maybe you let him be the quarterback sneaker. But unless they're going to design certain plays for him, I don't see the value of carrying him over some of these other guys.
I mean, I get it. Like I said, all the logistics are there that he should not be there. But I've been a Tebow fan ever since I've known who he was. So I'm and as you are, you're rooting for him. So.
Anyone else in any other games in the NFC East before we have to run out here? By the way, there's a story out there that Kelvin Benjamin's about to sign with the Giants. I'm like, oh God, that guy's still at it.
I was about to say, I didn't think that was a real person anymore.
he's the Tim Tebow of wide receivers.
Honestly, like I said, I'm looking forward to the Giants Cowboys games this year. I think the Giants are going to be our main target this year. Even though I do believe in Jalen Hurts, I know you don't. I think he's going to be that quarterback for the future.
No, I never said that I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I said I got to see it this year. He was fun to watch last year, but he also has NFL defenses haven't had a book on him yet. They're putting books together on him.
Right.
And
I think that's our big competition this year. The NFC East actually is going to be kind of fun to watch just because there's a lot of – it's not going to be like a 13 – and there's not going to be like a 13-team winner, but it's going to be a lot of good – it's going to be like the NFC East always is. It's going to be within one game when you get down to the last game.
I've got a couple of games that I think are going to be interesting in the NFC East this year. The Panthers come to New York to play the Giants. What does that mean? Sam Darnold is coming to New York City.
Okay, I keep forgetting he got traded there.
As far as the Eagles, they have a Thursday night game against the Bucks. That should be a lot of fun. And the Washington football team, of course, the Sunday night football game in Week 16, if it doesn't get flexed at Dallas, is obviously a big one. But I've also got another one circled. Week 5 is a good litmus test. They'll be at home against the Saints, and how well do they play against the Saints?
The Cowboys schedule is very hard, actually. If you look at it from top to bottom, it's a hard schedule this year.
What I love about the Cowboys schedule, Week 12 at home against Oakland, that's Thanksgiving Day. So that's your Thanksgiving Day game. Your 4:30 Eastern or whatever time it is on Thanksgiving, we're going to get the Raiders and the Cowboys, and that should be a lot of fun. I like a Week 17 at home against Arizona. That could be a flat-out shootout.
You got New England. You got, I think, the Steelers on there, I think. I'm not – there's a lot of good games. The Chiefs.
I don't think they play the Steelers. I think they might play in preseason, but I don't think
it's preseason. Yeah, but the Kansas City, Dallas. I mean, it's going to be
at KC Week 11. It should be a lot of fun too.
That's going to be a good fantasy week for if you're playing. Pick up Cowboys players that week because they're going to be playing from behind and have a lot of offense.
I guess it's about time to get out of here. That snuck up on me quicker than normal. Let's go ahead and do turn back time, and we'll do our walk-offs. By the way, real quick, my thoughts on cryptocurrency. If you've bought and you've seen it sink, just stay. And if you're really serious about it, this is a good time to buy, because people were overreacting to what Elon Musk tweeted out 2 nights ago. They're overreacting like they always do. This too shall pass. And you asked me if I sold my Dogecoin. I did and I didn't. So I sold it at its height when it was around 40 cents a few weeks back. Then I rebought in when it was at 21 cents. It cratered to like 13. And I rebought because I felt like, and so it went back up to 70. And I sold it again when it was around, I think 50-ish. And then I bought it back in again yesterday when it was down to 37 cents.
That's good for you. Yeah. And it's up to 50, about pretty much 53 right now.
Is it? Okay. I haven't even checked it. And that'll probably be a long play, because I don't know if there's going to be anything polarizing enough to get them to take off again. And so I've made a little bit of money off of it, nothing to write home about, but I've taken that money and turned it into other stocks is what I've done.
Right.
And then I've kept the same principle on Dogecoin. You have to look at Dogecoins like almost like playing the slots. You can't look at it as a serious investment. And there's a good chance that you're going to lose some money, but if you write it and you have fun and you sell it, that's what it's for. Or at least that's why. Now, Bitcoin, you can be serious about it, but I do think the cancel culture is going to hurt them if they don't figure out a way to mine Bitcoin using less electricity. So using extraordinary amount of electricity, right? You use an extraordinary amount, and that's what's got the libtards all mad. And remember, libtards are some of the main ones that are investing. Right. So yeah, that's a little dicey, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are the main ones that actually have staying power. Dogecoin, I think, could disappear tomorrow, and that's why I don't have a lot of money left in it. But I try to sell it and then take that money and push it into another stock, and I try to keep the same principle. And it's a and it's a principle that I am fully aware that I could lose every damn bit of it one day, and I'll be fine.
Right. I'm assuming you're buying up a lot of Tesla right now.
I'm trying to buy Tesla. Right now, a lot of my stocks are down because the market took a hit because of the gas situation. But jobs report came out the other day that was actually encouraging, even though the unemployment rate was not encouraging. But those are the kind of things that I look at that the kind of, and then of course with the CDC lifting the bans on masks throughout the country. I don't know if you saw that, but they said that if you have the vaccine, you do not have to wear a mask. A lot of this is, whatever, but the market reacts to it. So that's what I look at. All right, turn back time. Let's get the hell out of here. I still got to do damn Braves country before I go back to freaking let's go play the Texas game again. Let me look that up for you real quick. Music's playing. I'm getting up, getting me a drink of water, seeing what's happening in the world of sports. Are you still there? Damn it.
Exactly.
It's a good thing none of my people know where my show is. I've never let them know, and they would never know to look for me by this name. Okay, ready? Turn back time. Pretty good one today. On this date in 1996, it's hard to believe this has been 25 years. I feel like it was yesterday. Dwight Gooden becomes the 8th New York Yankee to hurl a no-hitter when he throws 135 pitches, which would never happen today, right? 135 pitchers, beating the Mariners in the Bronx 2-0. The 31-year-old right-hander, Doc Gooden, who hadn't won a game in nearly 2 years when he had this no-hitter. That's why it was so big. Was almost released the previous month by the Yankees after starting the season off very poorly. Doc Gooden would go on to, and later it happened in 1996, Yankees would win the World Series for the first time since, what was that, 80, 81, something like that. Also on this date in sports history, 30 years ago, damn, this was the first NBA championship I really remember thoroughly. The Boston Celtics beat the Houston Rockets 4-2 to win the 35th NBA title. And I think at the time that was Boston's 13th or 14th championship. 30 years ago today. I remember the year before I was watching when the Lakers in 80, but I didn't really grasp it. By 81, I was fully paying attention to the NBA. I want to say the one in 80 came on what do you call it? Tape delay. So I think that's one of the reasons why I don't really remember. I believe the 81 was actually shown live because I remember watching, and I can't imagine I was allowed to stay up till 1, 2 in the morning to watch the rerun of a basketball game at age 7, 8 years old. Birthdays. Then again, maybe I was because my dad was quite the drinker. He was like, "Come on, let's watch the game, sissy. Well, you got a test tomorrow."
Is that a light in your hands?
This one shocks me a little bit. Happy 57th birthday to Susie Colbert from ESPN. She's been there for quite some time. I ran into her years ago. I have a funny story about that I don't usually tell on air, but I ran into her years ago in Vegas just randomly. It was nothing that but anyways, also a solemn happy birthday. He would have been 44 years old today. Roy Halladay.
Oh, well.
44, man, taken way too young. Absolutely terrible. And there you have that. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
NBA is back. There's like 3 games left, so I'm finally digging in deep to it. It's a big weekend to try to get some seeding correct, and the play-in tournament starts, I think, the 17th. I'm back. I haven't been in all year. I've watched more Golden State basketball than I have Boston basketball. Boston is terrible to watch if you watched any game this year.
Well, now that Jaylen Brown's gone, it's a wrap.
Right. I mean, that's what I text you the other night. I said, let's just put this thing to bed. This is terrible. And they weren't fun to watch with him, man. And it's hard to watch. But Golden State's been fun. Steph Curry's doing some amazing things this year. I'm looking forward to the playoffs, man. I want to see if the Lakers can get knocked out early, which me and you would both love. I would really love it if they lost the last 2 games of the season, didn't make the tournament at all. That would be great.
Well, I think they're going to make the playoffs. It's whether or not they're going to be in the playing game, right?
Right. I mean, they're right there. They're right there at either playing. They're going to be in a playing game, or not make the tournament.
Is it? I mean, is that a done thing? They're going to be in the play-in? Because I thought when they won the other night, it helped. Let me pull that up real quick.
Well, they're a half. You know what? They're a half a game out from Portland and a game out from the Mavs, which the Mavs and Portland both on a tiebreaker over them. So you got 2 games left. So it just depends on that last 2 games they have. So
they'll most likely play the Spurs. It looks like Lakers Spurs. If it ended today, it'd be Lakers Spurs.
Right.
The Pelicans are done. There's no way Spurs catch. You know what? I'm a little shocked that Memphis is sitting at the 9th spot. I didn't even realize Memphis was back in the playoff.
And Golden State plays Memphis last game of the season too, I think.
I would like to watch Memphis. I don't get any Memphis games, so I wouldn't mind watching that. Man, if the Lakers could get knocked out in the first round, I think the ratings of the NBA playoffs would skyrocket. I think people just don't want to see or be reminded of LeBron James.
Yeah, I get it, man.
And so they're anti him, and I used to defend him, but after the last calendar year, he's really shown who he really is and how big of a phony he is and how stupid he is and ignorant that he is, and never knows what the hell he's doing when he tweets out something. He just does it because some bozo in his camp told him, "Hey man, did you see this?" So
man, he's so phony.
Yeah. You're phony. You're a big fat phony.
I was talking about Seinfeld when that guy called Jerry Seinfeld. He's like, "No, man, like phony, like good, like, hey man, you're so phony.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking about Family Guy. Big fat phony.
I gotcha.
I would have liked to have seen in the East. I would have liked to seen the Bulls in and not the Wizards, just because I think it's better for the NBA. I'm excited about my walk-off is I'm excited about the NHL playoffs. I'm going to dive into that quite a bit. I will watch the NBA playoffs to a degree, but I'm not watching LeBron James. So if his game is on, I can't watch it. If I find out they're an elimination game and about to get knocked out, I'll flip over the last 5 minutes and pull for whoever they're playing. But
right.
I'm not watching anything LeBron James. If it's the Lakers and the Nets, I don't care because I'm not watching Kyrie and I'm not watching LeBron.
I want to watch Golden State. I want to watch some Knicks basketball, which I never thought I'd say that. And honestly, some Charlotte Hornet basketball. So I think it might be there's gonna be a couple of series I'm tuned into.
Yeah, you're on by yourself with that Charlotte Hornet nonsense. I would like to see the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of Suns basketball this year.
I've become where I got into where I am pulling for CP3.
Right.
He's been abandoned by everybody, but he always takes his team to the next level wherever he goes.
Yeah, and last year, I mean, he's always did it. It's been proven. They showed the stats. But last year, I think people kind of noticed it when he was at OKC, and everybody left him. He was on the team with a bunch of draft picks, and they made the playoffs. So
yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. No matter where he's gone, he's made the difference. Remember a few years ago when Houston had a chance to knock out Golden State, it was CP3's injury that basically was the death nail in the coffin. So I never had an opinion on him, never disliked him, but I thought he was a little cheesy with his commercials, but I don't hate anyone for that. But I'm a full-blown CP3 fan. I want to see him do well. I'd love to see him kick the crap out of the Lakers if that came up somehow. I like CP3. What would be beautiful justice is if CP3 beat the Nets in the finals, and he gives the big finger to the bearded one.
Yeah.
And on his way, as he's doing it, he knocks out the Clippers and PG-13 or whatever the hell he tries to call himself. I call him the choker. All right, we'll see you next week, brother. Great job.
Talk to you soon.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another